The European Union is working on a theatrical new plan to force through a post-Brexit trade deal, with talks at an impasse. As the December 31 transition period deadline looms ever closer, officials in Brussels have drawn up a set of tactics to deliver a deal. According to senior EU officials, the bloc will allow Boris Johnson to claim victory over the bloc, even if he compromises. The posturing would allow Mr. Johnson to placate critics in Westminster, who may have lashed out if the EU had indicated it had secured its own compromise. EU sources told Bloomberg Mr. Johnson's no-deal warning last Friday has not caused much alarm among the leaders of the 27 member states. They said his ultimatum was mere posturing which is necessary for Mr. Johnson to sell a compromise trade deal to staunch Brexiteers. The EU believe they can avert a no-deal Brexit by making it appear Mr. Johnson has forced the bloc to back down on key demands. The plan would see the EU send David Frost a draft text laying out their determination to secure a trade deal as sovereign equals. Another option could see Brussels compromise on state aid rules. The rumored plan was ripped apart by Brexiteers, one of whom said the bloc was employing a risky tactic. One critic on Twitter said, "So in other words, EU are preparing to make concessions by suggesting that they are just giving Johnson a smokescreen to pretend he has won. Theater indeed." A second wrote, "The EU even trying to spin their concessions as somehow a backhand win, intelligent plan. Do they think we're all stupid?" Earlier today the bloc's chief negotiator struck an optimistic note on Brexit following the EU's dismal assessment of talks last week. Mr. Barnier told the European Parliament a free trade agreement was within reach, while insisting both sides must be willing to compromise on thorny issues for the negotiating process to restart. Mr. Barnier told MEPs, "Our door remains open. It will remain open right up until the last day when we can work together." But he said it takes two to make a deal, adding, "We are not sure that's the outcome we will obtain and that's why we need to be ready to deal with the consequences of a possible no-deal scenario." He said his team would seek the necessary compromises on both sides in order to do our utmost to reach an agreement, and said they will not give up in their efforts. A spokesman for Number 10 welcomed Mr. Barnier's comments and said government officials would dissect his words.